Hello, this is Nougatbar. Welcome to my channel. This is a channel about mostly knitting related content. Most of my videos are in Korean, but I really want to try to keep up with my English videos as well. And I've wanted to do this little video series, I guess, for a while, but I don't know why. I just haven't really found the time to do it. But I just blocked a slot, and I'm gonna try to go through all my makes. So these will be little individual videos dedicated to my recent finished objects. I do have a podcast, a knitting podcast, but it is in Korean, so I do know that there are some non-Korean speaking viewers out there that still watch my podcast, even that I don't speak Korean. I don't speak English, so I did want to have a show and tell, I guess, about my finished objects, so you can understand what I did. Maybe I had some modifications, maybe I did have something to say about the pattern or something, and just so it could be more clear, and also for me to have a little bit a backlog of my recent makes. So I will try to do these videos for most of my makes in the future. I hope I can really keep up with it, because I do know that I'm always like, I want to do this and that, but I never really do keep up with anything I do speak about. So I really hope I can keep up with these finished object series. So for the first one I have to show you today is the Télégramme Cardigan by Becky Sorenson. So she's also, you can also find her under the handle Soprano Knits. But, well, this is the Télégramme Cardigan. Oh, I can finally stand up properly because you do not need to see my face. You just need to see the cardigan, I guess. So here it is. It's a top-down, it's a top-down V-neck cardigan. So it has this slight V-neck, super cute, top-down with the raglan increases, and then you split for the arms, and you knit the arms, and then you knit the body. Like, you're super straightforward. It's slightly cropped. No, it's just cropped. Not slightly, it's just cropped. And since it's top down, if you don't like crop length, you can lengthen it, but I really like crop lengths. I'm super short. I think I've mentioned it in all my videos, but I like cropped length sweaters, so I stuck with the pattern, I think. And the only modifications I made was I think I knit the second side. I'm really not sure what I did, but I just read the wrong I read the wrong decrease rate for the sleeves, so I think I did the decrease rate for the first sleeves, but it doesn't really make a big difference. I just continued to keep wearing it and stopped at the length that suited me very well. So I just kept I just paid attention to not make the sleeves too short, because it is something I do frequently. I want to finish the garment quickly, so I'm like, oh, I can do with this, but no, I'm really trying to get my shit together and have full length sleeves, because I really don't like having short sleeves when I wear the knits, and I just need to remind myself that when I'm knitting, and especially when I'm finishing the garments, I know that I want to get everything off my needles, because I'm nearly finished. But if I finish earlier than I should, I'm always going to regret it. So this is something I'm really trying to work on. Do not knit my sleeves too short. The longer the better. So that's one thing I did. And yeah, so I think this pattern recommends to use a 3.25 millimeter needle, but I went with the 3.5 millimeter needle. This might be a lie, but I just know that I went a size up compared to the recommended needle size, because that was the needle I got gauged with, and I really like the fabric it was making. So it is a full-on broken rib pattern, and then you have this super nice cable detailing that goes all the way on your waist here. Is this the waist? What, your side? And it continues under the arm. Ta-da, like this. So I'll show you how it wears. It's a really cute cardigan and really wearable, because I really thought about it before making this cardigan, and I thought that this brown would really be easy to wear and I would gravitate towards it really easily in my daily life. So what's this accent I have? So yeah, so I've knitted in this bronze brown yarn. The color of the yarn itself is really my cup of tea. So it's not a solid brown. It does have like some variety to it. So it isn't a tonal or hand dyed yarn, but it does have some nuances that keep the fabric very interesting. However, this is I thought it was like a wool cotton blend yarn when I bought it initially, but there was like this sort of little scandal in Korea where there was a yarn supplier who lied about the composition of the yarn. So this turned out to be like more heavily nylon based yarn. So I think it's like 50 nylon, 50 wool or something like this. I wouldn't have bought it if I knew that ahead, because I'm trying to really not buy yarn that has a lot of nylon content in it or acrylic. I'm trying to avoid those, but I had already bought the yarn and I actually had nearly finished the garment at the point I got to know about that scandal. So that's a shame, but I really like the colour. I've knitted the whole garment basically. That's why I did take like a few months to finish the button band, because it was the only thing that was missing. But I just really didn't want to knit with this yarn, but I figured I really like the colour. It's nearly done and I do really like the pattern. It was a pain in the ass to knit all this broken rib, so I didn't want to chuck this away. So I finally got my stuff together and finished the button bands. So as I've told you, it took me like over 3 months, I think, to just finish this button band. I had everything done and I had finished all the like ribbing on the sleeves as well, because that also took me a lot of time to get the motivation to do that. But yeah, so yeah. But I don't really like this yarn. Even before I knew about the real composition of the yarn, this yarn is really I don't know how to like describe it, but it catches so much dust and fluff and stuff. So I think it's going to be impossible to keep it clean, not clean as in wash it, but it just has so many stuff that it's just so prone to stuff sticking on it. And there's a lot of fluff flying around in my house, like yarn bits, thread bits, cotton thread bits, my dog floof and stuff. So this is really prone to catching all of those. And yeah, my house is not dust free, so I think it'll be impossible to keep this really clean. But aside that factor, I really like this cardigan in general. I do find that it has like a little bit of puckering. I think it's my bad. I didn't do like a super great job at finishing the button band. Like I was really done with it. I really want to just finish it. But yeah, it isn't like my worst job, I guess. The only modifications I made in this pattern is the button band, so I didn't really follow the instructions, so I just looked at the global directions of it. So like for example, I think I did the same number of rows and also like where I needed to do the buttonhole. I think like that's the only directions I basically followed. And then what I did is, I think in the pattern she recommends you to have more buttons, but it was too much for me. And also the buttons I picked out are slightly big, so I found that if I had the same amount of buttons as she recommended in the pattern. There was just too much buttons for the length. So I went with 5 buttons, and what I did is I put one in the just where the V-neck ends or starts. Just where the V-neck ends, I would say, and then like one in the bottom, so not too near the bottom, just a little bit, a few stitches apart, away from the bottom edge, and then I just spaced them equally. You can count the stitches, but I really couldn't bother to do that, so I just like folded the fabric, and I was like, oh, this is the middle, so there will be one here, and then I did the same, like I refolded these and just tried to space them equally. So I did this bottom band first, and then I did the other bottom band with the holes, and I just tried to match them so it would match. Oh, so like I just said that I knit this side first and then this side. So that's another modification I made, or the only modification I made, because the only modification I made was related to the bottom band. So at first I did I followed the pattern instructions. So once I'd finished with all the sleeves and body, I picked up like all of this bottom band section. So I would start, I don't know which side, but I would start at one point and then pick up all the stitches here, and go through the back and pick up everything. So I would have like a million stitches on my needles. And it happened to be that I had picked up, I think, not enough stitches. So everything was puckering, and the bottom band was atrocious, and like my fabric was like this. So I had to rip that out. And then at that point I was already fed up. But I was already not really excited to knit the bottom band. But since I had gone through like a tale of woe, I was really not motivated to finish this bottom band. And there was also the issue with the yarn. So what I decided to do is I couldn't risk picking up all the stitches again, like a million stitches, do the whole thing, and just just find out that it wasn't working. I could not do that again. So what I did is I broke down this picking up I just broke down this picking up stitches situation. So what I did was I picked up the front right piece. I picked up, like, I started from the edge, and then I picked up until the raglan at the back of the shoulder. So not the front of the shoulder, but the back of the shoulder. So I picked up these stitches, and then I did the bottom band, and then I would bind off, and then I did I picked up the stitches from the back of the shoulder right side until the back of the shoulder on the left side, and then I would knit the bottom band and bind off. And then I did like the third part like this. So this meant that I had 3 separate button bands, 3 separate flaps of button bands. And then what I did is I just sewed them together here like this. What I just kept in mind was, for all of these button band pieces, I would start and end with a knit stitch. So this meant that when I was sewing up these the parts together, I would have a knit stitch on this side and a knit stitch on the other side, and I just had to sew between the knit stitches so it would give like a super neat finishing. Like if I didn't tell anybody that I did that, like, I don't think anybody would notice it, because it isn't really that obvious. And even if it's obvious, it's at the back of your neck, so nobody really sees it. And if you have like long hair like me, like nobody's gonna see it. So that's the only modification I made, and I think if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't have even finished it until today. And I think I started this in like May last year, and I finished it in December maybe last year. So I did take like 7 months for quite a simple cardigan, but I did like spend 3 months trying just to finish it. So technically it didn't take me that long, but it's just like getting the motivation to make the last touches. and I had to use like a trick in order to get myself to finish this. So if bottom band finishing is an issue for you, so I find that it's always hard to get the right ratio of picking up stitches. So what I do is most of the time, if I pick up 3 stitches for 4 rows, it does work, but sometimes I do rely on the pattern. And the thing is, if you rely on the ratio suggested by the pattern, sometimes you don't have the same gauge, and especially if you don't have the same row gauge, it's going to change completely. So what I suggest you to do is maybe do it like me, just break down the bottom band so you don't have a full length, and you have like a slightly manageable stitch number and stitch number to work with, so you're more motivated even if it doesn't work out, and you can finish your garment. So that's my stitches are falling off, but I did make these super cute labels, and I'm trying to make sew on these labels as I finish my knits. It's nothing really like fancy or anything, but it does give a really nice finishing, and also for cardigans, I guess it's not a big of an issue, but for sweaters sometimes I don't. It's hard to figure out if it's the back of the front or the front. So it is really useful to just put it down. It's just really useful to have a name tag sometimes, and just you can figure out easily where's the back and where's the front. So this is the Télégramme Cardigan by Becky Sorenson. You can find it on Ravelry. I had a really good time with this pattern. I found I didn't have any big issues with the pattern itself. It was really nice. I had issues with the yarn, but that's not that's my fault, I guess. And I really recommend the pattern. It's super cute. It's really wearable, and the broken rib is like, you do have to get motivated to knit it, but it's really pretty, and just a little bit of texture, a little bit different from your usual stockinette stitch. And the cable is beautiful. The cable is beautiful. I really loved knitting the cables. So like, these cable really kept me going for the sleeves, because I really wanted to knit on the cables, and like the broken rib wasn't the most exciting part, especially like once you're starting to knit the sleeves, you already knitted all the body, so you're a little bit like bored. You're a little bit tired of knitting the same pattern, and then you're knitting the sleeves on smaller needles, so that's not the most exciting thing, but the cables are the stuff that really got me through. And the cables are really nice because it helps you keep track of the decreases. So what I do is I knit one sleeve, trying to read through the pattern, and seriously, I don't really mind having like some decreases go wrong. So maybe if it's like decrease every 6th round, I don't really mind if on a certain round I had forgotten and I decrease on the 7th round. I really don't care, because it doesn't make a really big difference in the finished garment. So what I'll do is I'll just try to follow the pattern on the first sleeve, and then for the second sleeve I don't refer to the pattern, but I just refer to the sleeve I've knitted. So what's really practical with the cable is it's really easy to like, for my mind, I'll be like, oh, I'm at this point in the cable, so I do need to put a decrease on this round. So yeah, because sometimes like broken rib and stockinette, sometimes it can be hard to situate yourself in the knitting process, but cables do have more it's more easy to find yourself in the pattern, I guess. So that's the only thing I really wanted to say. I knit this with Chiaogoo needles, so I have the interchangeable Chiaogoo set. I have the small set of the interchangeable Chiaogoo set. Does that make sense? But yeah, I have I only have the small size. I didn't buy the complete size because I don't really tend to knit with a lot bigger needles, so that's fine with me. And then for the sleeves, I use the blue Shorties. So I really love the Chiaogoo cables, and if you haven't knit with them, I really recommend them to you. If buying an interchangeable set is a little bit too much, maybe you could just try the fixed circulars and give it a try. So that's it for today. This was the Telegram sweater by Becky Sorenson. I hope that this video might have given you some insight. Maybe you do want to knit this or not, or yeah. So I'll try to come back in the near future with a different finished object. Bye bye.